Well, hello everybody. I want to go ahead and get us started with our side-by-side called Blue Vase with Hydrangeas. So what I have here is something that Regina has willingly shared with us. This is the Rapid Resizer. I'm going to be sending this to your inbox and you're going to print it out in 4 pieces. Each piece is numbered from left to right. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll cut that out and tape it together just as I did. And this becomes your transfer. To see a little easier, I decided to take a pink highlighter and just go around the image so that my eye would not become confused with all that is going on here in the transfer. That was helpful to me. If you're doing a transfer for the first time, we have sized our side-by-sides to fit a store-bought mat, and I'll be glad to share those dimensions with you. But this fits beautifully. I want to mention that when I saw this as I'm seeing it now, I was concerned that this hydrangea is just about in the center. So what I did is I played with this a little bit and I'm pushing mine off center just a little bit so that you see a little more of this off center and a little more of this to the right. Also in the photograph, you're going to see that my little cat is back here. I've included him with the pink highlight. I'll decide a little later as to whether he gets into the painting or not. So this photo was taken in my driveway and I printed out, just as many of you do, 2 photos. I've got the color photo right here. And it's on some glossy paper. It's really not photography paper, it's presentation paper. And I like it because it goes through my printer really nicely without getting stuck. I printed it out in a black and white grayscale as well. So here I can see just how really dark that background is and how some of the light is popping in through the trees. I'll talk a little later about my objectives for teaching this particular side-by-side once we get started. But let's just go through the process here. I taped this down to my watercolor paper. Like that. And I've got this graphite paper. You all know that this is the Serral wax-free graphite paper. I'm going to be putting the dark side down because that's where all the graphite is. I'm going to slide this in. And now what I'll need to do is move it from left to right. Some of you will just pop it in like this and be done, and that works too. So with that in mind, I'm going to grab my ballpoint pen. This can be any ballpoint pen. I love the ballpoint pens for this because whether it writes or not, this tip becomes a stylist. And so I will just go over all of these areas with the pen. I will lift to check my pencil line so that I know if I'm being too heavy with the weight of my hand or not heavy enough. Before I untape everything, I check to see, while I can still line it up, that everything is there. And then, of course, I'm going to untape it. And I now have my transfer for the side-by-side. A couple of things I want to notate here. I did not get into the pattern of the tablecloth and this napkin. I chose to wait for that a little later. You can decide that you need it and you want to put it in there. I'm going to kind of work that out on my own. Here's my side-by-side, so let's get started.